Airplanes disappear from radar more often than you think, but almost all of them leave behind evidence: a distress call, an emergency code, debris, something. But this story is different. In 1999, a commercial flight with more than 50 passengers vanished completely from radar. Not for a few seconds, not for a minute, but for exactly 37 minutes. No signals, no crash, no communication failure, nothing. And when the plane finally reappeared, it was flying smoothly, calmly, as if it had never gone missing. Today, we explore the real-life mystery of the flight that slipped out of our world and returned with clues that still confuse investigators to this day. The day was June 14th, 1999. A normal Monday. Flight AR-247, a mid-sized commercial aircraft, prepared for departure from Buenos Aires, Argentina, heading to Santiago, Chile. The route was common, a straight path across the vast Andes mountain range. Thousands of flights cross that area every year. Passengers boarded calmly, families, business travelers, tourists. No one suspected anything unusual. The weather was perfect, winds calm, visibility excellent. The plane was cleared for takeoff at 15:45. Nothing, absolutely nothing, hinted that this flight would become one of the strangest aviation mysteries ever recorded. The airplane climbed to its cruising altitude, around 31,000 feet. The cabin crew reported everything normal. Passengers settled in, movies playing, people reading, some already asleep. At 17:12 p.m., the flight entered one of the most iconic parts of the journey, the mountainous corridor directly above the Andes. Mountains stretching for thousands of miles, deep valleys, high winds that can appear suddenly. But today, nothing. The pilots were calm, the passengers relaxed. Then, at that exact moment, something strange happened. On the ground, air traffic controllers watched the screens as the small blinking icon of Flight AR-247 moved steadily across the map. And then, it disappeared. Instantly, cleanly, without a fade-out, without turbulence indicated, without a transponder code. From one frame to the next, the plane ceased to exist on radar. Controllers attempted radio communication.
AR-247, do you copy? Silence. AR-247, confirm altitude. Silence.
Again.
Nothing. The protocol was clear. If radar and radio contact fail simultaneously, the possibility of a crash is extremely high. Ground teams prepared for emergency response. Search and rescue groups were alerted. Authorities assumed the plane had gone down somewhere in the mountains. But the truth was much stranger. This is where the story becomes surreal. Multiple passengers later described a sequence of events that should be impossible. The moment radar contact was lost, they reported a blinding white light filling the cabin. Not sunlight, not lightning. A uniform, perfect, unnatural light. Passengers said they couldn't hear the engines anymore. They couldn't feel turbulence. The entire cabin went silent, unnaturally silent. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. Babies stopped crying. Even the sounds of seatbelts, airflow, phones, everything vanished. It was as if the airplane had been placed inside a vacuum. Some passengers described a feeling of weightlessness. Others said time felt strange. Some felt only seconds passed. Others felt much longer. One passenger claimed she heard multiple voices whispering, but none of them were human. Another reported that when she checked her watch, it had stopped. The flight attendants later said they tried speaking to each other, but their voices sounded muffled, as if coming from behind a wall. The pilots, who rarely speak publicly about the event, described their instruments behaving erratically. Altitude readings shifting, navigation screens freezing, internal clocks slowing down, and a strange hum vibrating through the cockpit. But this part is the most disturbing. Not one person on that plane remembers the full 37 minutes. Some remember a flash. Some remember darkness. Some remember nothing at all. It was as if a piece of their lives had been erased. At exactly 17:49 p.m., 37 minutes after disappearing, the plane suddenly reappeared on radar. In 1 second, the screen was empty. In the next, flight AR-247 was back, calmly flying its normal route. Controllers were shocked. The plane's altitude, direction, and speed were all mismatched from where it should have been, almost as if it had been dropped back into the sky from a different position. When contact was finally re-established, the pilots answered normally, completely unaware anything had happened. According to them, they never lost communication. They never saw an emergency. The flight felt completely normal. But when the aircraft landed and the clocks were checked, the onboard clock was exactly 37 minutes behind real time, the same amount of time the plane had vanished. A full investigation began immediately. Radar logs confirmed the disappearance. Passenger testimonies matched in dozens of details. The cockpit voice recorder captured nothing unusual, just silence during the missing period. The aircraft's black box had 37 minutes of missing data, a perfect gap. Authorities considered: 1. Massive electrical failure impossible. The engines never shut down. 2. Severe weather anomaly. Radar showed clear skies. 3. Instrument malfunction. Does not explain the passengers' identical stories or the missing clock time. 4. Human hallucination. All 50+ people hallucinating the same thing? Impossible. 5. Time distortion or missing time phenomenon. Not officially acknowledged, but widely discussed. 6. Aerial encounter. The bright light, the silence, the missing time, the shifted coordinates, and the delayed onboard clock. To this day, no official explanation has ever been released. A commercial airplane vanished, returned without damage. Passengers experienced 37 minutes they cannot fully explain, and the aircraft's own instruments recorded a time gap that should not be possible. Whether it was a rare atmospheric event, a technical anomaly, a psychological mass phenomenon, or something beyond science, the truth remains hidden, and somewhere in the skies above the Andes, a 37-minute secret is still waiting for answers.